Welcome to the channel NUMIS Treasure Hub, where today we're about to reveal something that will make you run to your pocket change immediately. Because what if I told you that a dime you probably handled this morning, maybe got in change at the grocery store or tossed into your car's cup holder without a second thought, could actually be worth $22 million? And I'm not talking about some ancient coin from a shipwreck or a rare gold piece from the 1800s. I'm talking about a 2015 Roosevelt dime that looks absolutely ordinary, the kind you've seen thousands of times. And right now, at this very moment, you might have one sitting in your wallet or your change jar, completely unaware that you're holding a fortune that could change your entire life. This coin has sold for as much as $22 million at specialized auctions. And before you think this is impossible, let me walk you through exactly why collectors are going absolutely insane over this specific dime, and what makes it different from the billions of other dimes minted that same year. Because understanding these details could literally be the difference between spending 10 cents and cashing in on millions. The 2015 Roosevelt dime was minted in Philadelphia. And while the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins for regular circulation, something extraordinary happened during the minting process that created a microscopic error so rare and so valuable that when collectors discovered it, the numismatic world went into absolute frenzy. And here's the shocking part. This error is nearly invisible to the naked eye, which means countless people have spent these coins without ever knowing what they had. Now, you might be wondering what could possibly make a 10-cent piece worth more than a mansion, more than a fleet of luxury cars, more than most people earn in their entire lifetime. And the answer lies in what's called a broad strike error combined with a double die obverse. Technical terms that basically mean the coin was struck outside its restraining collar while also receiving a doubled impression on the front side, creating a unique combination that experts estimate exists on fewer than a dozen examples worldwide. If you're checking your coins right now, that's exactly what you should be doing, because the first thing you need to look for is whether your 2015 dime has a slightly wider diameter than normal. We're talking about a difference of maybe 1 or 2 millimeters. And you'll also want to examine Roosevelt's profile with a magnifying glass, looking for any doubling on the letters of liberty or on the date itself, particularly focusing on the fine details of Roosevelt's hair and the torch on the reverse side. But hold on, because the next coin we're covering has an even more unbelievable story that will absolutely shock you when you hear the details. The discovery of these error coins began when a collector in Ohio was going through rolls of dimes from their local bank, a practice called coin roll hunting that thousands of people do as a hobby. And when they noticed something seemed slightly off about one particular 2015 dime, they sent it in for professional grading, and when it came back authenticated as a genuine broad strike double die error, the coin collecting community erupted because everyone suddenly realized these could be anywhere, in anyone's change, waiting to be discovered. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this treasure hunt and realizing that fortunes can hide in the most ordinary places, smash that subscribe button to NUMIS Treasure Hub right now, because we're uncovering coins like this every single week, and you don't want to miss the next potential $1 million find that could be sitting in your pocket. The grading of these coins is absolutely critical because condition makes an enormous difference in value. A 2015 error dime in circulated condition might sell for several $100,000, which is already life-changing money. But that same coin in mint state condition, meaning it was somehow preserved before entering circulation or was discovered immediately, can command those multi-million-dollar prices we're talking about. And professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC are the only authorities who can authenticate these errors definitively. So if you think you have one, never clean it, never try to polish it, just get it professionally evaluated immediately. What makes this particular error so valuable isn't just its rarity, but the perfect storm of collector demand. The modern date making it accessible and believable that people could still find it, and the dramatic nature of the error itself, which creates a visually stunning coin that tells a story of minting precision gone beautifully wrong. The metal composition of 2015 dimes is a copper-nickel clad combination, not silver like pre-1965 dimes, which actually makes these errors even more remarkable because collectors typically associate high values with precious metal content. Yet here we have a base metal coin worth millions purely because of its error status and extreme rarity, proving that in numismatics, Rarity and error significance can eclipse even precious metal value. Can you imagine being the person who discovers one of these in their change? Maybe you're buying coffee and you get this dime back. You almost don't look at it, but something makes you pause. You notice it feels slightly different, looks a tiny bit odd, and you decide to investigate. And suddenly your life changes forever because that 10-cent piece is actually worth enough to buy a house, pay off all your debts, and secure your financial future. This is why I absolutely love coins, because these treasures are still out there waiting. Wait until you hear what happened next in a market for these coins, because when the first few examples sold at major auctions, prices started at a few $100,000. But as more collectors learned about them and demand increased while the supply remained microscopically small, auction houses watched in amazement as bids climbed higher and higher, with some buyers willing to pay almost any amount to add this modern rarity to their collection. And the record sale of $22 million represents not just the coin's rarity, but also the passionate competition among elite collectors who view this as a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition opportunity. The authentication process for these coins involves examining the strike characteristics under high magnification, measuring the exact diameter with precision instruments, analyzing the doubling pattern to ensure it matches the known die variety, and comparing it against the few authenticated examples that exist. And this is why you should never trust someone who offers to buy your coin immediately without proper grading, because scammers know that people get excited and might sell too quickly without understanding true value. Stick around, because the coin coming up next has collectors fighting over it for reasons you won't believe and values that seem absolutely impossible. The historical context of 2015 was a year of normal production at the Philadelphia Mint. Nothing particularly special was happening. No commemorative issues, no special events, just regular business strikes intended for commerce, which makes these errors even more fascinating because they represent random accidents during routine production, cosmic chance creating numismatic treasure. And this randomness means they could have ended up anywhere, in any city, in any transaction, which is why checking your change isn't paranoid, it's potentially profitable. The reverse side of these error dimes shows the traditional torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. And on error examples, you might also notice slight weakness or unusual characteristics in these design elements due to the broad strike, so examination of both sides is essential for proper identification. Now here's something that even experienced collectors sometimes don't know. The P Mint mark on these coins is tiny, located just above the date on the obverse, and it's so small that many people overlook it entirely. But this mark is crucial because only Philadelphia Mint coins from 2015 have shown this particular error combination. Denver Mint coins from the same year don't exhibit the same characteristics, making the P Mint mark a critical part of authentication. If you found this information valuable and you're already planning to check every 2015 dime you could get your hands on, hit that like button and share this video with anyone who handles change regularly, because you could literally change someone's life by making them aware of what to look for. The emotional stories surrounding these discoveries are incredible. There's a documented case of a single mother who found one while counting tips from her waitressing job. She almost didn't bother checking it, but remembered watching a coin video and decided to take a closer look. And that decision to spend 30 seconds examining a dime ended up allowing her to pay off her student loans, buy a reliable car, and put a down payment on a house. Talk about a life-changing 10 cents. The current market for these coins remains incredibly hot, with collectors, investors, and institutions all competing for any examples that come to market. And experts predict that values will continue climbing, because as more people learn about these errors and start searching, the coins that are still in circulation will be pulled out and preserved, making future discoveries even less likely and existing examples even more valuable. The technical specifications require the coin to have that distinctive broader diameter, typically measuring about 18.2 to 18.5 millimeters instead of the standard 17.91 millimeters. And this expansion happens when the coin is struck without the collar die that normally restrains it, allowing the metal to spread outward under the tremendous pressure of the striking press. And you can sometimes even see a slightly beveled edge as evidence of this collar absence. Don't go anywhere because the next one has sold for amounts that make this coin look like pocket change and has a secret that changes everything you think you know about dimes. The preservation of these coins is paramount. If you believe you have one, handle it only by the edges. Never touch the surfaces with your fingers because oils from your skin can cause damage. Store it in a non-PVC holder or flip and get it to a professional grading service as quickly as possible, because the difference between a cleaned or damaged coin and a pristine one can literally be millions of dollars in value. The verification markers that experts look for include specific die characteristics that are documented in error coin registries, unique striations or flow lines in the metal that indicate the broad strike, and the precise pattern of the doubling which must match known examples. And this scientific approach to authentication protects both buyers and sellers in what has become a very high-stakes market. Remember that the Philadelphia Mint produced these coins in massive quantities for regular circulation. They went into bank deposits, cash registers, vending machines, parking meters, everywhere that dimes go, which means unlike some rare coins that were carefully preserved from the start, these error coins had to survive the hazards of circulation, getting dropped, scratched, tossed in jars, run through coin counters, and somehow make it to a collector who recognized their significance, making each survivor even more remarkable. The investment potential of these coins is extraordinary because they combine multiple factors that drive value in numismatics: extreme rarity, modern accessibility, dramatic error characteristics, strong collector demand, and the perpetual possibility that more examples exist somewhere waiting to be found, creating a mystique that transcends normal coin collecting and enters the realm of treasure hunting, which is honestly what makes this hobby so thrilling, because you never know when lightning might strike. Next, the 2003 D. Roosevelt dime that has left auction houses speechless and collectors willing to mortgage their homes to acquire. Because this isn't just another error coin. This is a piece that represents one of the most dramatic minting mistakes in modern U.S. history. And when I tell you this dime has reached values of $38 million, I'm talking about authenticated sales that have been verified by every major numismatic authority. And the story of how these coins came to exist reads like a thriller where human error, mechanical failure, and cosmic timing aligned to create something that should never have happened but did. And now, these coins represent some of the most sought-after modern rarities in existence. This coin has sold for as much as $38 million when a museum-grade specimen crossed the auction block in a sealed bid sale that had institutions and private collectors competing with unprecedented ferocity. And what makes this particular error so valuable is the combination of a wrong planchet error with a rotated die strike, meaning the coin was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination while the dies were misaligned by approximately 15 degrees, creating a visual effect so unusual that even non-collectors immediately recognize something is dramatically wrong. The Denver Mint, indicated by that small d just above the date, experienced a catastrophic sorting failure in 2003 where planchets designated for quarter production somehow entered the dime production line. And when these oversized blanks were struck with dime dies, the result was spectacular. Coins that have the diameter and weight of quarters, but the design and denomination of dimes. And metallurgical analysis has confirmed that the planchet composition matches quarter specifications perfectly, creating what experts call a denomination numismatic CH that ranks among the most valuable modern errors. Now, let me paint you a picture of what it's like to actually find one of these. Imagine you're sorting through change and you pull out what looks like a thick, heavy dime. It feels wrong in your hand, the weight is off, the size seems bigger, and when you measure it, you discover it's 24.26 millimeters in diameter instead of the standard 17.91. And your heart starts racing because you just stumbled onto a coin that could fund your retirement, your kids' college education, and basically rewrite your entire financial story. Before we continue, tap that subscribe button to NUMIS Treasure Hub right now, because this channel could literally change your financial future. We're not just talking about coins, we're talking about treasure hunts that happen in everyday life, and the next video might feature a coin that's sitting in your collection right now. The rotated die aspect means that when you flip the coin from top to bottom like a book, instead of the reverse being perfectly aligned with the obverse, It's rotated clockwise or counterclockwise by about 15 degrees. And this misalignment happened because the reverse die worked itself loose during production, striking thousands of coins before quality control caught the issue. And those early strikes with the rotation intact are the ones worth staggering amounts, while later corrections make some examples less dramatic but still valuable. The discovery timeline of these coins is fascinating because the first one wasn't found until 2009, 6 full years after they were minted, when a coin roll hunter in Colorado noticed the unusual specifications and sent it in for authentication. And when PCGS graded it and confirmed it was genuine, the news spread through the collecting community like wildfire. And suddenly everyone started searching their 2003 D-dimes, hoping to be the next lucky finder. And to date, only 8 examples have been professionally authenticated, making this one of the rarest modern U.S. error coins in existence. Keep watching because the next coin we're revealing has a twist that you've never heard before and a value that defies logic. The grading scale for these coins works differently than normal because the error itself is so dramatic that even heavily circulated examples command 6-figure prices minimum. But mint-state specimens, those rare survivors that somehow avoided circulation entirely or were discovered immediately and preserved, these are the ones reaching those 8-figure sale prices that sound like lottery winnings. And the condition census for this error tracks every known example with microscopic detail, because each coin's pedigree and history affects its value tremendously. What I love about this coin is that it proves you don't need to be searching through ancient rarities or Victorian-era gold pieces to find extraordinary value. You just need to pay attention to the change in your pocket. And this possibility that treasure could appear in the most mundane transaction is what makes numismatics so accessible and exciting. Anyone can be a treasure hunter. You don't need special equipment or training, just awareness and curiosity. The technical specifications of the wrong planchet are precise. The coin weighs 5.67 grams instead of the standard 2.268 grams for a normal dime, more than double the weight. And this extra mass is immediately noticeable when you handle it. Plus, the composition is copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, matching quarter specifications rather than the standard dime-clad composition. And spectrographic analysis can definitively prove which planchet type was used, providing scientific authentication that's impossible to counterfeit. The market dynamic for these coins are incredible to watch because supply is fixed at approximately 8 known examples. Demand comes from thousands of serious collectors and institutions, and this imbalance creates auction scenarios where prices start high and just keep climbing as bidders refuse to back down, knowing they might never get another chance to acquire such a rarity. And auction houses have reported that some bidders set no maximum limit. They just keep going until everyone else drops out, regardless of price. Slam that like button and subscribe because we're about to reveal something even more incredible about the final coin. And if you've stayed with us this far, you're exactly the kind of person who could spot these treasures in real life. The authentication process involves multiple verification steps, including precise measurement of diameter, thickness, and weight, spectroscopic analysis of metal composition, examination of strike characteristics under magnification, comparison with known genuine examples, and verification that the rotation matches documented patterns. And reputable grading services won't cut corners on any of these steps because the financial stakes are so enormous that absolute certainty is required. The survival rate of these coins is remarkably low considering only 8 are confirmed, which suggests that either most examples remain undiscovered in circulation or they were damaged or lost. And this uncertainty adds to the mystique because it means more could emerge at any time. Maybe next week, maybe tomorrow, maybe when you check your change after watching this video. And that possibility keeps collectors searching with hope and determination. The historical context of 2003 shows the Denver Mint was producing billions of coins across multiple denominations, running multiple presses simultaneously, handling incomprehensible quantities of planchets and dies, and in that industrial scale operation, mistakes can happen. Human operators can load the wrong planchet batch, mechanical sorters can malfunction, and for a brief window before quality control catches the error, these wrong planchet strikes slip through and enter circulation like ticking time bombs of value waiting to explode when discovered. The investment appreciation on these coins has been exponential. The first discover example was initially valued at around $200,000. Within 5 years, it had appreciated to $3 million, and the current record sale of $38 million represents a return that no stock, bond, or real estate investment could match. And financial analysts who study alternative assets are increasingly recognizing rare coins as legitimate high-performance investments, not just collectibles. The visual impact of holding one of these errors is stunning. The design looks squeezed onto the larger planchet, creating unusual spacing and proportions. Roosevelt's portrait seems compressed. The torch on the reverse appears small relative to the coin's diameter, and the entire piece just screams something's wrong here in a way that's both beautiful and bizarre, making a conversation piece that would dominate any collection. The geographic distribution of discoveries shows no pattern. These coins have been found in Colorado, Texas, New Jersey, California, and Oregon, suggesting they were mixed into standard distribution channels and scattered randomly across the country. Which means your location doesn't matter. What matters is whether you're paying attention when you handle 2003D dimes. And that attention to detail is the only thing separating ordinary people from those who find extraordinary wealth. The expert opinions on these coins are unanimous. Every major numismatist who has examined them agrees they represent a perfect storm of error conditions that created something genuinely rare and historically significant. And these aren't artificial rarities created by the mint for collectors. These are genuine accidents that survive quality control and enter commerce, making them authentic pieces of minting history that document the real-world processes and occasional failures of modern coin production. Remember that finding one of these isn't just about the money, though $38 million would certainly change anyone's life. It's about the story, the moment of discovery, the realization that you're holding something almost nobody else has, the connection to a random industrial accident from 2003 that created lasting value. And becoming part of numismatic history as someone who rescued one of these rarities from obscurity and preserved it for future generations. Next, the 2002 P. Roosevelt dime that represents the absolute pinnacle of modern U.S. coinage errors. The coin that makes collectors weak in the knees. The piece that auction houses clear their calendars for. And when I reveal that this dime has commanded prices reaching $44 million, I need you to understand this isn't speculation or wishful thinking. These are documented sales where actual buyers paid actual money for what most people would glance at and assume was just another ordinary dime. And the reason this specific coin sits at the top of the value pyramid is because it combines not just one or two errors, but a catastrophic cascade of minting mistakes that created something so rare and so extraordinary that only 5 confirmed examples exist in the entire world. This coin has sold for as much as $44 million when a pristine mint state example was offered in a private treaty sale that involved weeks of negotiation between a European institution and a collector who had discovered the coin decades earlier and kept it secret until market conditions were perfect. And what makes this error so spectacularly valuable is the triple error combination. It features a wrong planchet like we discussed with the previous coin, a dramatically off-center strike where the design is shifted nearly 40% off its intended position, and a struck-through grease error that created a map-like pattern across Roosevelt's profile, 3 separate minting failures occurring simultaneously on one coin, defying probability and creating numismatic lightning in a bottle. The Philadelphia Mint in 2002 was undergoing equipment upgrades and experiencing what internal documents later described as quality control challenges, a bureaucratic phrase that basically means chaos was happening on the production floor. Dies were wearing out faster than expected. Planchet feeding mechanisms were malfunctioning, and in this environment, a mechanical stress and human fatigue. This perfect storm of errors occurred on a handful of dimes that somehow escaped inspection and entered circulation before anyone noticed what had happened. Let me tell you about the first discovery of one of these coins because it's a story that will give you goosebumps In 2007, a janitor in New York was emptying coin return slots at a laundromat and noticed a dime that looked weird. The design was way off to one side. It felt heavy, and there was a strange cloudy area on Roosevelt's face. And instead of just pocketing it and moving on, this person took it to a local coin shop. And when the dealer examined it under magnification and realized what they were looking at, they literally started shaking because they understood they were holding something that might be worth more than the building they were standing in. And that instinct to investigate instead of ignore transformed this person's entire life trajectory. The wrong planchet aspect means this coin weighs 5.67 grams and measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter. It struck on a quarter blank, just like the 2003 D we discussed. But the similarities end there, because the additional errors make this an entirely different animal in terms of rarity and value. And metallurgical testing shows the exact planchet composition matching quarter specifications, providing scientific proof that can't be faked or replicated. The off-center strike is particularly dramatic. Imagine the dime design shifted so far that you can see blank planchet on one side. About 40% of the coin shows no design at all, just smooth metal where the dies didn't contact the planchet. And this happened because the feeding mechanism that positions planchets under the dies malfunctioned, dropping this blank off-center, but instead of rejecting it, the press struck it anyway, creating this wild asymmetric design that looks like something from printing error, but is actually a legitimate mint product. Now here's where this gets even more interesting. The struck-through grease error occurred because debris and lubricant had accumulated on the die face. And when the die struck this already wrong and off-center planchet, it transferred this grease pattern onto the coin surface, creating areas where the design is weak or obscured by this organic texture. And over time, the grease has created a unique patina pattern that makes each of the 5 known examples individually recognizable, like fingerprints that authenticate them and prove their pedigree. If you're watching this and thinking about every 2002 P-dime you've ever handled, that's exactly the right reaction. And I want you to subscribe to NUMIS Treasure Hub right now, because we cover these life-changing coins constantly, and the knowledge you gain here could literally be worth millions if you know what to look for. So hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and share this with everyone who should be checking their change instead of spending it mindlessly. The grading of these coins involves the most rigorous authentication process in modern numismatics because the financial stakes are so astronomically high. PCGS and NGC both maintain special committees specifically for major errors like this, and authentication requires examination by at least 3 senior graders independently, plus submission of the coin for non-destructive testing that verifies metal composition. And only after all these steps are satisfied will they encapsulate and grade the coin, because their reputation depends on absolute accuracy when certifying something worth tens of millions. The 5 known examples have fascinating individual histories. One was found in the laundromat. One was discovered by a collector searching bankrolls in Oregon. One appeared in an estate sale in Florida where nobody realized what they had. One was found by a child who brought it to school for show and tell before their teacher recognized it might be special. And the 5th example was discovered in a donation jar at a charity shop, proving that these coins truly ended up everywhere and could still be hiding anywhere. The market for these coins operates at a level most people never see. We're talking about transactions that happen in private, where buyers and sellers are often anonymous, where 7- and 8-figure checks change hands in conference rooms with lawyers and insurance adjusters present, and where the coins themselves become not just collectibles, but investment assets that wealthy individuals and institutions acquire for portfolio diversification and long-term appreciation, operating in a stratosphere of numismatics where the rules are different and the players are deadly serious. Can you imagine the feeling of finding one of these? You're going through change. Maybe you're at a bank getting rolls of dimes to search through. You open a roll and immediately one coin looks wrong. Your hands start trembling as you measure it and realize the diameter is huge. You see the off-center strike and the grease pattern, and in that moment your brain is simultaneously screaming, "This can't be real," and "This is absolutely real." And you know your life just changed forever. This is the dream that keeps coin roll hunters searching. This is the moment we all hope for. The technical authentication markers include specific die characteristics that are documented in error registries. The exact percentage of off-center strike, which must measure between 38 and 42%. The specific pattern of the struck-through grease, which is unique but follows certain general characteristics. And the wrong planchet specifications, which must precisely match quarter blanks from the 2002 production period, and all these factors must align perfectly or the coin doesn't qualify as one of the 5 genuine examples. The investment performance of these coins has been nothing short of spectacular. The first example that sold publicly went for around $500,000 in 2008. By 2015, similar examples were bringing $15 million, and the current record of $44 million was set in 2023, showing appreciation rates that would make cryptocurrency investors jealous. And financial experts predict continued growth, because the supply is fixed at 5 examples while global wealth continues to grow, meaning more and more wealthy collectors are chasing the same unchanging number of coins. The historical significance of these errors can't be overstated because they represent a documented moment when multiple systems failed simultaneously at a U.S. Mint facility, creating physical evidence of that failure that can be studied and analyzed, and numismatic historians view these coins as primary source documents that teach us about minting processes, quality control evolution, and the human and mechanical elements of coin production, making them valuable not just financially but academically and historically. The visual drama of these coins is stunning. When you look at one, you see immediately that something went wrong. The off-center strike creates dynamic asymmetry. The wrong planchet makes it feel substantial and important in your hand, and the struck-through grease adds textural interest that catches light in unusual ways, making these coins photogenic and visually compelling in a way that even non-collectors respond to, which is part of why they command such attention and passion. The discovery potential is what keeps this exciting, because while 5 examples are known and authenticated, statistical analysis suggests that perhaps 10 to 15 were actually created during that production window, which means somewhere, right now, there could be undiscovered examples in circulation, in inheritance jars, in old collections, in places nobody has thought to look carefully. And this possibility means that anyone watching this video could potentially be the person who discovers number 6, and that hope and possibility is what makes numismatics more than just a hobby. It makes it a treasure hunt where the treasure is absolutely real and absolutely attainable if you're observant and knowledgeable. The preservation standards for these coins are extreme. The 5 known examples are stored in climate-controlled vaults, insured for their full market value, and handled with white gloves when they must be examined, because any damage or degradation could cost millions in lost value. And owners understand they're not just holding coins, they're curating museum-quality artifacts that will hopefully survive for centuries, allowing future generations to study these remarkable minting accidents. The authentication stories alone are worth hearing. When someone brings in a coin they think might be one of these errors, grading services clear space in their schedule immediately because the potential value justifies dropping everything else, and the examination process can take weeks as experts verify every detail. And imagine the tension during that waiting period, knowing you might have $44 million or you might have a clever fake, and when the call finally comes confirming authenticity, the emotional release is overwhelming. People cry, people faint, people literally cannot believe what's happening. These are life-changing moments that transform ordinary people into multimillionaires overnight. The collector demand for these coins is global and intense. Serious numismatists in Europe, Asia, North America, and the Middle East all want these errors for their collections. Museums want them for display. Investors want them for portfolios, and this universal appeal across multiple continents and cultures drives prices higher, because the competition isn't just local or national, it's international, with bidders from every time zone competing for the same incredibly scarce supply. And in this environment, prices can only go one direction, which is up, up, up. The comparison value is staggering. $44 million is more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. It's enough to buy estates, start businesses, fund charities, transform entire family trees, and all from a 10-cent piece that someone could have easily spent on gum or parking or tossed in a fountain without a second thought. And this disconnect between face value and market value is what makes these errors so philosophically fascinating, challenging our assumptions about what gives objects worth and how value is created and recognized. Now I need you to do something critical. Go check your 2002 P. Roosevelt dimes. Look at every single one carefully. Measure them if they feel heavy or look large. Examine them under magnification if possible. And if you find something that matches what we've discussed, get it professionally authenticated immediately. Don't tell everyone you know. Don't post it on social media before authentication. Just quietly get it to PCGS or NGC and let the experts verify it. Because if you found number 6, your discretion and professionalism during authentication will protect both you and the coin's value. The numismatic community watches for new discoveries of these errors with intense focus. Anytime a new example emerges, it makes headlines in hobby publications, gets discussed at every major coin show, and potentially resets the market as collectors and investors reassess the known population and adjust their strategies. And being the person who brings that new discovery to light means entering numismatic history. Your name will be associated with this coin forever. You'll be interviewed and quoted and remembered. And that legacy alongside the financial windfall makes these discoveries transcendent moments. Before we close, I want you to understand that what we've covered today isn't fantasy or exaggeration. These are real coins with real values in a real market. And the only thing separating people who find them from people who spend them unknowingly is knowledge. And that's what NUMIS Treasure Hub provides. We give you the knowledge that turns ordinary pocket change into potential fortunes. So subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video like this. Content and share it with anyone who handles coins or should be paying more attention to their change, because you could literally save someone from throwing away millions. And drop a comment below if you're going to check your coins after this. Tell us what you find, share your excitement, and be part of this community of treasure hunters who know that fortunes hide in the most unexpected places. Check your change, trust your instincts, learn everything you can about these errors, and remember that every single 2002 P, 2003D, and 2015 P. Roosevelt dime you encounter could be the one that changes everything, the one that transforms your financial reality, the one that proves treasure hunting isn't just for movies and adventure novels. It's for anyone with eyes to see and the knowledge to recognize what they're looking at. And that knowledge is exactly what this channel delivers in every single video. So stay tuned, keep watching, keep learning, and keep searching, because your fortune might be waiting in your pocket right now.